Discos to get 20 billion naira to meter customers as Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission approves funds. 614 kilometers of Abuja-Kaduna Kano gas pipeline to begin operations in 2025. And Binance executive on lawful trial has access to quality medical care, federal government clarifies. These and more on Panorama today from Abuja. My name is Justin Bemunyi, and I welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) has approved the sum of 21 billion naira for the 11 electricity distribution companies to provide meters for customers. This is contained in an order released by NEC on the operationalization of Tranche A of the Presidential Metering Initiative under the framework of Meter Acquisition Fund. The Commission says the distribution companies are to buy and install the meters for customers under the Meter Acquisition Fund, free of charge. The Commission notes that the Meter Acquisition Fund scheme was developed and approved by the Commission to address the challenge of distribution companies' credit worthiness, inhibiting the deployment of end-use meter by creating a credible revenue stream from the market funds on the back of which long-term financing will be secured by the utilities. NEC states that the deployment of funds will accelerate the deployment of meters for all customers currently classified under Tariff Band A for the purpose of revenue protection, among others. The 614 kilometers Ajaokuta-Kaduna Kano AKK gas pipeline will be completed and ready for operations in the first quarter of 2025. This is the assurances by the federal government's delegation, including the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, during a visit to the project site in Kaduna. Saliu Kwana reports.
Mr. President,
on the spot assessment of the ongoing AKK gas pipeline project site demonstrates the federal government's determination to ensure the completion of the multi-billion-dollar project inherited from the previous administration.
It's a gas-to-power project. There will be gas for power, there will be gas for industry, even gas for agriculture. This is implementation and execution of Mr. President's strategy to get the Nigerian economy growing again.
Determination of Mr. President to complete ongoing projects. We have this tradition in this country where projects are usually abandoned, especially when there's a change of baton. This is an extreme commitment by Mr. President to ensure that whatever has started that has immense benefit for our people, is completed, and not just completed on record time. And the benefit to Nigerians will, of course, be seen very shortly. Just recall that when you work on gas, Nigeria is actually not just a petroleum country, it is also a gas country.
We are working towards expanding this project to other parts of the country, so that at the end of this administration, we will have gas in every state of the Federation.
Custodian of the project group chief executive officer, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, says the $2.8 billion project has received 90% funding.
That there is no engagement I have with the president that he does not mention the delivery of the AKK project, and we are very, very happy that this is happening and we'll deliver it.
We are optimistic that by the time this is finished, with the jobs that will be created and people having a decent standard of living, that the security challenges that we have in Kaduna will go down.
The team assured that the federal government renewed hope initiative will harness the nation's natural resources like gas to economic prosperity. In Kaduna, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Nigeria and China are set to improve bilateral trade and investment to mutually drive economic growth. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga pointed out this while on an official working visit to the People's Republic of China on the invitation of his Chinese counterpart, Mr. Wang Yi. A statement from the ministry says Tuga is expected to participate in several high-level meetings, including the inaugural plenary session of Nigeria-China Intergovernmental Committee in Beijing and the World Economic Forum annual meeting of the new champions in Dalian to solidify the strategic partnership between Nigeria and China. Consequently, the outcomes of these engagements include advancing Nigeria's infrastructural and development drive, improving healthcare and educational systems, job creation and economic diversification, attracting foreign direct investment, and promoting entrepreneurship and industrial capabilities and competitiveness. The federal government of Nigeria claims that Binance executive Tigran Gambaryan is being held in unsavory prison conditions in Nigeria, or that his health is deteriorating at force and should be ignored. A statement by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says Tigran Gambaryan is being held in a lawful detention and has access to quality medical care whenever required. He also has full access to consular services from his home government. The federal government, the statement adds, will not do anything to jeopardize his fundamental rights to unlawful trial and to quality care, including health care, even as he undergoes trial by the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The federal government of Nigeria, the statement further says, will continue to follow due process in its quest to bring Binance to justice as part of Nigeria's dedication to upholding justice and maintaining the integrity of its judicial processes. Now, the national coordinator of the Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons is seeking support of the Nigeria Police Force in the area of intelligence sharing. Francis Fong brings us the details of this collaboration.
There is no doubt that violence in any society is being driven by the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, and Nigeria is not an exception. So, the need to partner with the force in the recovery of these weapons became imperative. National Coordinator of the Center, DIG Johnson Kokomo, retired, said the Center cannot do it alone, thereby necessitating their visit to the Louis Edet House.
We know too well that the Nigerian Police Force has records of recovered arms and ammunition across the Federation. Of course, there are laws that prescribes punishment for illegal possession of firearms, with the laws being enforced most appropriately. We will, of course, be able to fight the proliferation of small arms and light weapons.
So your center has a big role to play, and I want to assure you that the police will continue to support you, will support you in the areas of intelligence sharing, will support you in the areas of enforcement of all operations, enforcement of all laws. We have no choice than to continue to work together.
The National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons was established on the 3rd of May 2021 to prevent and control the proliferation of small arms and light weapons towards strengthening peace and security in Nigeria. Francis from NTA News.
The Director General of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired, says citizens, especially at the community level, have a role to play in the fight against drug abuse and trafficking in Nigeria. He stated this at the special Jumat prayer to commemorate the World Drug Day at the National Mosque, Abuja. He urged parents, community heads, and religious leaders to pay close attention to the attitudes of members of their communities to detect and report cases of drug abuse and those dealing in illicit substances.
Religious bodies, both Christian and Muslim, in their sermons, in their advocacy, the school system, in the curriculum, drug tests, random drug tests. For instance, we have promoted drug tests for students, tertiary institutions, and drug tests before marriage. When you go for the wedding, bring the HIV, bring the genotype, and bring drug negative. These are some of the steps on this side. On the other side is to deny availability of drugs and access. You have to have drugs first to abuse it, and it's our job as NDLEA to launch operations to seize drugs, arrest the offenders, take them to court, seize their assets as well.
The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Kemi Namdap, has paid an e-order assessment facility visit in Kongolam, Katsina State at the Nigerian-Niger border. The digital platform is to enhance the efficiency and transparency of the agency's services. Hussein Suleiman reports.
The Nigerian Immigration Service has introduced an e-border assessment facility, a key milestone in its modernization effort. This digital platform is designed to enhance user experience, facilitate online applications, payment and tracking, and reduce the need for physical visit to NIS offices. While in Kongolam border, the Controller General is optimistic about this development, anticipates significant improvement in service delivery, thereby seeking synergy with other sister agencies and border communities toward achieving maximum result.
A lot needs to be done, there's no doubt about that. We need to still collaborate with the federal government, we need to talk to them, we need to do a lot for securing our borders, we need to deploy technology, we need to deploy more communication gadgets. We have our e-border solution which is up and running right now. We still need a lot to be done, but it's work in progress. And I know this administration is very favorably disposed to ensuring the borders are safe.
During her visit to Katsina State, she inspected NIS formations in Daura and Meadwa local government areas. The team also paid visit to the former President Muhammadu Buhari at his residence in Daura and the Emir of Daura, Umar Faruk Umar, in his palace as part of Salah celebration. In Daura, Hussein Suleiman, NTA News.
We now take a short break. To be back in a moment. Do stay with us.
Nation. My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Welcome back. The federal government says the integrated housing scheme is more than just a collection of buildings, but a practical demonstration of how much the government respects and appreciates the civil servants by providing them with comfortable and secure homes. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Musa Dangiwa was at the inauguration of a fish estate in Gwagwalada Area Council of Abuja as part of the activities marking 2024 Civil Service Week. Haman Jabani reports.
It has engraved a mark in my heart that I will never forget this particular head of service.
For government to come out with this initiative, and not just that, make it with ease to acquire the properties, become a landlord, is a very amazing thing to me.
People may look at it as something that is impossible, but here I am with the keys with me. It is very possible.
The 116 housing unit constructed under the Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program in the office of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, who stands on 5 hectares of land, is completed within 18 months.
The provision of housing is a big project that requires all hands to be on deck, and I'm happy that the head of service is pushing for civil servants, where it engaged other under ministerial collaboration.
The call for this collaboration is informed by ongoing plans by the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation through the FISH program to deliver another estate of a larger scale in Jiwa FCT.
But the Federal Ministry of Works will always be available at your call whenever It has to do with anything welfare of the civil servants of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We just profile you, look at your salary, if the salary can be able to pay back the loan within the years that you have in the service. Because by law, if you have less than 5 years to retire, we don't normally use to give the loan. You must have 5 years and above.
We know that we are building for civil servants, and civil servant doesn't have much, so they don't have to now come and be spending much money to come and renovate the house again. So our houses are up to standard.
The completion of the housing unit is the end result of a collaborative effort and shared vision of various ministries. While the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development provided the land, Ministries of Works, Water Resources and Power provided the infrastructure. The housing, which will be considered as a model for other fish projects, is available to staff of core ministries on an interest rate of 3%. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
We now move to Ondo State, where the government has commenced the second phase of the distribution of food items from the National Strategic Reserves to vulnerable people and farmers. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa said the distribution will leverage comparative advantages to food sufficiency all year round in the state. Paul Mokago has the details.
A flag of this second phase of palliative distribution in Ondo State.
24,000 bags of rice, 14,040 bags of maize, 3,440 bags of gari, 170 tricycles, tillers and canoes were distributed to farmers and vulnerable individuals in the state. This second phase of distribution, which is jointly funded by the federal and Ondo state government, is in fulfillment of plan to assist farmers, particularly this wet season, to meet their target of having bountiful yields. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, while flagging it up, appealed to key players in the agriculture value chain to work towards nipping the challenge of food insecurity in the state in the bud, urging traders to desist from inflating the prices of food items.
Our administration will not rest on its oars until we are able to feed ourselves in our dear state.
There were goodwill messages from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, on ongoing moves to tackle the challenges in the agricultural sector. In Akure, Paul Omukago, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Education has emphasized the need for a comprehensive data on educational institutions and personnel for effective planning and resource allocation, citing the ministry's pivotal role to national development. This, the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Tanko Yusuf Sununu, said is necessary to address nagging issue of out-of-school children and other educational challenges. Dr. Sununu was speaking when he received executive members of the Chartered Institute of Development Studies and Administration of Nigeria, CITSAN, towards initiating collaborative efforts to drive educational advancements in the country. The minister outlined several key initiatives, including improving teachers' training, welfare and societal status to enhance education quality, as he also advocates integrating skills training with formal education to boost employability and economic productivity. The minister assures them of the ministry's support for various educational initiatives and reforms. President of the Institute reiterated CITSAN's mandate to support and guide the ministry in achieving its objectives with focus on providing tailored training and consultancy programs to enhance sectoral skills and capacity.
With the organization to see how we can certify a lot of skills that are previously certified, and so that we can be regularly interacting with the ministry, let you know what we are doing, where we need assistance, we'll come to you.
Both parties agreed to continue to work together to upskill the country's education sector. Now, 10 out of the 20 local government areas of Bauchi State have been predicted to experience flood this year. To put this in check, Bauchi State government has taken concrete measures towards mitigating the negative impact it may cause. Awal Abdullahi tells us all about it.
According to the 2024 flood prediction by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, Toro and Itas Gadao local governments are on the high risk, while the other 8 local governments, including Bauchi, the state capital, are on the moderate risk of floods. However, some communities in the state have already started experiencing the flood disaster.
Once there is a rainfall, we cannot sleep. Even the church will be flooded. So these are the experiences we'll be having for more than 12 to 15 years.
The water comes inside the house, even up to our parlor extent. So we have to raise up some things like my chairs and then the rest of my clothes.
As part of effort toward mitigating the negative impacts of the flood, Bauchi State Government has intensified effort in sensitization and awareness campaign in the affected communities.
We come together, each and every agency that has its input, what do they do or what are they doing to avert this flood disaster for this year, since there was a report of happening of this flood disaster. Each and every MDA or stakeholder give its contribution, and we said the contribution will not stop in the discussion area. The input must reach the target places that the flood would occur.
The flood, according to the prediction, is expected to occur between June to November 2024. In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi, NTA News.
And next is Sport Update.
The Confederation of African Football has announced December 18, 2025 to January 18, 2026 as the official date for African Cup of Nations to be hosted by Morocco. This came after an intense meeting by the football apex body in the continent on Friday. Meanwhile, in today's Euro 2024 features, Georgia take on Czech Republic, while Portugal welcome Turkey as Belgium go against Romania at the group stage of the championship. In athletics, Chukwuebuka Enekwechi has won the first gold medal for Team Nigeria at the African Athletics Championship in Douala, Cameroon, pounding out a championship record of 21.20 meters to win. The Nigerian champion complete a hat-trick of African Championship titles, having won in Asaba and Mauritius, and is now tied for the most gold medals by the male shot putter in the history of the championships. Nigeria last won the championship in 2012 in Porto Novo, Benin Republic. In other news, the death of Prince Victor Eweka has been announced. Prince Victor passed in the early hours of last Friday at the age of 78. Prince Victor worked and retired from the services of Nigerian Television Authority as assistant manager news. He was a versatile sports correspondent while in NTA. Prince Victor Eweka is survived by his wife, children, and many grandchildren. With sports updates, Peter Oibo, NTA News.
Our prayers for the dead by the living in Islam is regarded as highly potent and rewarding. Considering this spiritual enablement, Islamic scholars and Muslim faithful converged on the Shagari Mosque, Area 1, Abuja, to pray for the continued repose of the soul of mother of the President, Haja Abibatu Mogaji. Abdullahi Ajia reports that President Bola Tinubu attended the Dua and Jumat prayer.
It was a shared solemn moment for Islamic scholars and worshippers who put the first family in special prayer, particularly for the eternal repose of the mother of the President, late Haji Abibatu Mogaji, who passed on in June 2013. A
woman that is considered as epitome of true Islamic motherhood.
The special dua, which coincided with the Jumat prayer, witnessed high attendance of worshippers, politicians, government functionaries, as well as Islamic scholars, who invoked Allah's benevolent mercy upon the soul of the departed, whose contributions and legacies many extol.
It is a known tradition of Prophet ﷺ where he said that whoever dies, all his actions through which he can attract reward ceases except from three. One of it is when you leave a righteous son who will remember you and pray for you. And this is a righteous son who is today not only praying for his mother, but teaching us as Nigerians that we should please endeavor to pray for our parents. that they deserve our prayers, that they deserve our attention, that they deserve our time.
The whole Quran was recited for a last mercy to be upon the deceased. A charity project was launched for the construction of 380 boreholes for humanitarian use as Sadaqatul Jariyah for Hajia Habibatu Magaji.
As an act that is worthy of emulation and worthy of commendation, because mothers are meant to be cherished and to be celebrated by all of us.
The special dua was organized by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Political Matters and executed by the National Commission for Al-Majri and Out-of-School Children. The presiding Imam, Sheikh Muhammad Sani Abubakar Jos, in his sermon, enjoined worshippers to be conscious of Allah's commandment on trust. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
And this is where Panorama ends. Thank you so much for being a part of it. My name is Justin Bemun. You do have a wonderful day ahead.